Of our National Sports Centre at Crystal Palace provide an admirable setting for this international invitation race, which incorporates an inter-area team race. Dry and firm underfoot, it could very easily turn out to be another great proving ground for the Ethiopians. They have three men here, all experienced internationals, unlike what we dubbed the second team that turned out in Gateshead 3 weeks ago when they finished first, fourth and sixth. The favourite today must surely be the man wearing 124, Mohamed Kadir, the Olympic 10,000 metres bronze medalist. Gathering with them, there are some 110 runners. They'll run 6 laps of 1,400 metres, which is the equivalent of a race over 5.5 miles. And away they go. Kadir, incidentally, wears the dark blue. The three Ethiopians, as I said, the rest in their national vests, multicolours, but you'll recognise some of the teams. And it looks like a green vest of Ireland that goes out, and it's Jerry Kiernan wearing 34. Away they go into the grounds. Jerry Kiernan, there he is, running for Ireland. 21, David James of Wales. 91 is Grenville Tuck. 26 is up there, Eamon Coughlin, and Stevie Kenyon wearing 48. And 126, Krista Hurley. But I'm joined again by Brendan Foster, who's walked this course and knows quite a bit about it.
Well, the important thing about this race is that because of the crowded number of starters, you have to get a fast start is essential. And the plan for a competitive race here would be to gather momentum and pick up the leaders after about a mile. And you can see the main contenders are already moving through to get a good position at the end of about the first mile.
Kadir in that leading pack. There he is, bending over. He's got 40 or 50 runners ahead of him, and in fact the Ethiopians are in the middle part of that squad at the moment, and there are a lot of very well-known British faces. I must say the RAF have turned out a very strong team. John Wild, Roger Hackney, Julian Goda, Steve Jones, and they'll enjoy this firm running. This is a nice part of the course, and that's going to stretch them a little bit. And already, although they're only halfway round the first lap, the teams will be beginning to get themselves sorted out, and Stuart Story has some information on those teams.
Well, there are 10 teams running today in the inter-area race, and as you've already said, Ron, the RAF very, very strong indeed. The North, who won this competition last year ahead of the South, with Scotland in third, depleted just a little bit with a late withdrawal of Mick McLeod and Stevie Binns, the two men who came first and second overall last year. But generally, it'll be a competition all the way down the field. Difficult for the team race, though, with 11 individuals from Belgium, Australia, Switzerland, Ethiopia and Germany just getting in and mingling amongst them during the course of this race. But the teams will be very, very strongly contested.
Looks like Glyn Harvey wearing 67. This race sponsored by Provincial Insurance and organised by the International Athletes Club. Incidentally, that's one of the very good Germans in second place, Christopher Hurley, 25-year-old, good 10,000, 5,000 metre man. Some of the other numbers, 119, Roger de Vogel of Belgium, good international field. Coughlin is up there and is in good form. 91 is Grenville Tuck, 21 is David James. Now they go past the old terrace of the Crystal Palace, burned down in 1936. Hurley up on the shoulder of Glyn Harvey there. David James is there. There's the statue of Dante in the foreground. Eamon Coughlin wears 26. There he is, settling in comfortably in about 6th place there. Running in 3 is Julian Goda. I said a very strong team from the RAF. They really have pulled all the stops out. Gordon Rimmer's there as well. Tough team to beat, although the North traditionally, Brendan, would hope to do well in any sort of team race anywhere in this country.
Well, the North would always assume that they were the top cross-country area in the country, but I think today, with a team like the RAF have out, the team that the South have out, and the team that Ireland have, I think it could be a very close competition.
We shall mostly concern ourselves with the individual race, and David James from Cardiff and Julian Goda are there with the German and Roger de Vogel of Belgium, the German being Christopher Hurley. And there suddenly Kadir appears from nowhere. I must say that he has made up about 150 meters from the back of the leading pack and has gone through them and opened up a tremendous piece of sprinting. Hurler's going after him, Julian Gota's going after him wearing 3, but he's absolutely taken the field asunder in the very early stages as they go into the second lap. Brendan.
And I know that the Ethiopian team manager is looking for one of their team to do very well today, because they've already decided that they are going to enter the World Cross Country Championships, and if one of them can do exceptionally well, he'll be selected after today's race for that particular event.
Worth, Kadir, Gota, Hurley, de Vogel of Belgium wearing 119, who the Belgians, of course, having a great tradition in cross-country, hoping he's going to do well. The Belgians also got Eddie Depor here, and they've got Jeff Gies. Now, Nedi, the other Ethiopian, has appeared wearing 1, 2, 3. Nadir, of course, was 7th in the Moscow Marathon. And we ought to say that Miritz Yifter, the only reason he's not here is that his wife is having their 6th child, and she's having problems. Otherwise, he would have been here. So we've started. We talked at Gateshead 3 weeks ago. 3 magnificent Ethiopians turned up. That was Behana Germa that won it. There was Tadisi, who was finished 4th. Bayen, who finished 6th. Now here are 3 other very good Ethiopians without Yifter. And as Brendan Foster was saying, they're going to appear in the international cross-country race in March, and they must be regarded as the strongest team in the world at the moment.
Well, we have an assessment now of the team situation at the end of the first lap. The Royal Air Force, as we suspected, well in the lead at the moment. And the North, well, they're fighting hard. They're in 2nd place, with Ireland and Eamon Coghlan at the 4 in 3rd.
Very good conditions. It's nearly 60 degrees here, although there was a hint of rain early this morning. It's very firm underfoot, and they've had a lot of other cross-country races, and these grounds here at the National Sports Centre providing splendid setting and ideal running conditions. Kadir and Julian Gota still up in the lead. Julian Gota hoping to make a challenge. The Shaftesbury Harrier, 27 years of age now, 9th in the 1979 international cross-country, and he's taken over the lead at the moment. Julian Gota going off, not deterred by the Ethiopian sprint. He really did come from nowhere, and you can see them wending away around this parkland. And one of the Ethiopians in their national costume in 3rd. Kadir in 2nd. It looks like Nedi, Dereji Nedi. Then de Vogel is in the blue, wearing 119. Roger de Vogel in 4th place. Then Christa Hurley of West Germany. Steve Jones is up there. Steve Jones wears number 4 and runs for the RAF today. David James runs for Wales. 2 Welshmen together. David James wearing 21. And then it looked like Eamon Coghlan wearing 26. No, it's another Irishman. It's Jerry Deegan. I beg his pardon. Jerry Deegan, who's also in very good form. Ran a good race against Puttiman's last weekend. Coughlan's just gone past. Thought I saw Andy Holden there as well. So Scotland in the dark blue. We've got the Irish, both Northern Ireland and Ireland, wearing green. The red of Wales, the RAF in their pale blue. The Army have a good team out as well. They're in white with red piping. They've got Glenn Grant leading their team. And the North, of course, Steve Kenyon, Dennis Coates, Nick Leese, and will want to resist this challenge from the RAF, who've pulled all the stops out to get a very good team here today. Steve Jones, number 2 there. Roger Hackney running for the RAF. 1-2-5. Other Ethiopian, Volden Sadik. 1-2-7 was Alberto Cova of Italy, another good international. 2 Italians here. Musiari of Italy wears 1-2-9. Cova wears 1-2-7. 40 just gone through your shot. Try and give you some of the names. That was Graham Lang of Scotland, the Shaftesbury Harrier. 99 going through shot there as well. Alex Robertson running for the Army. 92. Race medley just went through. Mike Fletcher for the South. 68. There, race medley running for the Midlands, the Birchfield Harrier, experienced international. 96 was Norman Wilson of the Army. 102 has just gone through, looked like another Army man it was. It was Chris Hurst. And Julian Gota leads. Kadir and Nedi. And so from an individual point of view, we're just looking for the best of the other Ethiopians. They're still looking very strong, are they not, Brendan?
I would think at this point in the race they are looking very strong, but this is the point where the guy who's going to win the race has got to get himself to this position, because it's a very undulating course, and after a while a series of sharp bends and uphill climbs, and the tiredness starts to set in after about 3 laps. So if you're not in that position after 3 laps, you're going to be struggling to get there at all.
Well, Julian Gota, who really only just missed Olympic selection and was perhaps a little unlucky at that, but he's had a very good winter on the continent. A lot of these boys, the cross-country is a very big business on the continent. I mean that in inverted commas, of course. And Julian Gota's had some very good runs. He's an underrated runner. Gota, for the RAF, for Shaftesbury, having 9th in the 1979 International Cross-Country. 4th in the United Kingdom, 10,000 metres, and he's heading those two at the moment. Nedi and Kadir, two Ethiopians, and Roger de Vogel of Belgium, and then a little bit of a gap.
The team situation, the RAF still in the lead, of course, being led by Julian Gota. The North in 2nd place, and one little hitch for the North early on was David Lewis fell, and really that hurt the overall effort. Ireland, well, in 3rd place or thereabouts at the moment, and remember, it's as well to mention at this stage that in Gateshead it was the first 4 competitors home that scored, but this time it's the first 6, so the 6 places added together give the overall score at the end of the race.
Which means it's a very tough race to follow as far as team races are concerned. Julian Gota, whose father Brian was a very good club half-miler, leading these two Ethiopians, and these firm conditions, I wonder whether these cross-country athletes, Bren, are waiting for the snow to come. By now, generally, they've got cold, crisp conditions, and some of them would regard this as the most important part of their racing career. Others would regard it really as a part of build-up to track racing. Now, you, an experienced international at both, how did it affect you, and how will it affect most of these, Bren?
Well, in itself, it's a very important entity, because very much a part of a distance runners program is to include cross-country, and also one of the advantages that can be gained from good cross-country running is an enhanced reputation, so that when you line up on the track, the men are already frightened of you, so you can always gain a few ounces of extra confidence by running extremely well on the country.
Well, the RAF and Ethiopia having quite a little battle at the moment. Steve Jones in 3rd. There's the RAF looking very strong. Kadir is dropping back just a little bit in 4th. And 1, 2, 3, Dereji Nedi is the man who's a corporal in the army, chasing the 3 RAF boys. Then De Vogel also in blue, following up for Belgium. And it's the marathon runner from Ethiopia that's doing rather the better at the moment. Although they're both now locked together. I think Kadir enjoys the fast bits, that downhill run. Look at him go now. He really is opening up a little bit on the downhill. Until then, Nedi was doing rather better, the marathon man, and now look at him go again. Mohammed Kadir, who was a first lieutenant in the army, leading the British RAF.
One of the differences between the way the Africans can run and the way the Europeans can run is that the Africans can run in bursts, and you'll see them running in bursts already. The Europeans like to run in a steady state condition, and that is they don't use up too much energy. But this is one of the advantages that the Africans have over us, is that they come from altitude and they can run, as we're already seeing, in bursts.
But it's still an astonishing standard, is it not, Brendan, to have these world-class runners from a population of only 19 million, and a population and a country that's a little trouble torn at the moment, both with war and famine. And Kadir gets a little bit away from Nedi. Nedi, incidentally, who was 2nd in the Ethiopian cross-country championships last weekend, to that Gateshead winner, Gurma. And I think Mohammed Kadir thinks he's got a little bit to prove, the 10,000-metre man, proving against the marathon man. 1:19, De Vogel going through. 21 is going through, is James, and Hackney's there. Gordon Rimmer of 6th for the RAF. Stevie Kenyon wearing 48. 86 is Barry Knight. The German Hurley went through. 125, Bolden Sadik. 53 is Chris Woodhouse. 29 I saw up there, just going through. Jerry Deegan dropped back a little bit. John Wa's gone through. Roger Hackney's gone through. Steve Rimmer's gone through. 120 there was Jeff Geese. I must say the RAF are packing extremely. And Eamon Coughlin not looking too happily. Eamon Coughlin, who the Irish warned us was in spanking form, well, he didn't look too good there as he was going through. Alex Robertson of the Army, and there was a familiar face of Grenville Tuck, one of the Tuck twins just going through our picture there. So race medley up there. Still the two RAF boys, and I should think that the RAF are packing well as a team, but really it's going to be about an individual race. And the two boys are giving the Ethiopians a fair little battle. This is developing into quite an individual race. But Kadir seems to be getting away just a little bit, stretching them on those downhill bits, enjoying the firm running.
Interesting, Ron, on that team situation. The RAF have 6 men in the first 28, and ahead of the North, and the Midlands now moved up into 3rd place with the demise of Eamon Coughlin, and Jerry Deegan now fading back. And with 6 men to score, of course, it really is a test of a real depth of cross-country running, this. The Ethiopians, well, it may well seem to be Ethiopia versus the RAF at this stage, but of course the Ethiopians are in as individuals, and there is no rest of the world team, so the RAF well ahead at the moment.
Interesting thing about these Ethiopians, they've been here 4 times and they've won major races on each of their visits, and we're due to see them on the track. They're coming to Gateshead this year. In fact, we've got 2 matches against them. This, their 4th visit. Turo won one of the cross-countries in the past. We had Yefta, who actually beat Steve Ovett at 5,000 metres, admittedly one of Steve's very first attempts at the race. And then we had them at Gateshead 3 weeks ago, and they're looking very strong here. Kadir, Neddy and Jones. Then Julian Gota. Two and a half laps to go. And just coming around that bend at the base of the old Crystal Palace building, and then there's that fast stretch again, and these 4 have really made the individual race their own, and it must be about these now. 2 and a half laps to go, and it's this very fast stretch that Kadir approaches now. Julian Gota being dropped just a little bit. Steve Jones, inter-county steeplechase champion. Now, is he going to get away? Steve Jones digging in a little bit and getting up there with him. He doesn't want Kadir to move away. Moving on to his shoulder, wisely. Steve Jones running so well. Had a good run at the end of the athletic season. He went to Peking with the British team and finished first in a 10,000 metre race there, maturing all the time. His cross-country tradition and pedigree has been first class, but he's beginning to grow in stature as a track runner as well. But is this Ethiopia getting away from the RAF?
This looks to me like the crucial part of the race. Kadir's committed himself. He's decided he wants to win the race relatively early, and the two RAF boys, Steve Jones and Julian Gota, are running extremely well. They're competing against men who have the ability to run in these short, sharp bursts, which up and down the hills really catches you out. I can imagine that both Julian and Steve are suffering now at the hands of these 2 Ethiopians, but they haven't given up and they're digging in up those hills, and it's great to see.
And I think Neddy will try, and he's got something to prove as well. Kadir got away, but then slows on the uphill part. It's that the economics of running. Now there's the steady state that they're into now. Julian Gota looking comfortable. I should think the English boys would look forward to the hills. The Ethiopians with the advantage of that altitude background, but even so, when you consider that the third world have had so many disadvantages in the world of sport, we tend to grow away from them, but the one advantage they have got is giving them an improved lung capacity, and they do well to capitalize on it now. Very few other events in which they can claim that.
I would think, looking at Steve Jones there, one more hill is about 1 too many, because he's struggling at the moment. He's really digging in deep. He is a very popular athlete because every time he runs he gives 100%, and they're stretching him, but he's hanging in there, and we're going to get a great race here.
There's Steve digging in, getting some inspiration of being up there with Julian. Did quite a lot of running and training together. Kadir, though, stretching just a little bit, lifting his knees, enjoying the firm footing, getting away a little bit. Nice crowd gathered here. And sponsors, Provincial Insurance, do a lot for distance running, and will be delighted at this turnout. Steve Jones then, digging in just a little bit, hanging in. Kadir, Neddy, but look at the gap between these four and the rest of them. And it looks as though the RAF are up there. Gordon Rimmer. Stevie Kenyon at the back of that pack. Gordon Rimmer was up there. There he is, wearing 6. John Wilde is there. RAF. Roger Hackney, rather, sorry. The RAF. De Vogel of Belgium, then Steve Kenyon, and then David James of Wales. But they've got a lot of ground to make up if they're going to be in contention as individuals. No doubt about the RAF looking stronger and stronger as the race goes on. And Julian Gota looking well. Nice and steadily, and keeping on the shoulder of Mohamed Kadir. Now 27. But look at that stride length for a short man. Rather like Yifter. A little bit of forward lean. And Neddy goes with him. 1.5 laps to go. And of course each lap is 1,400 meters.
Just to bring you up to date before the 4 athletes get into the throes of the finish with the team event, that is. The RAF, well, they have 6 men in the first 25, and that gives them a total at the moment of 58 points. The North in second place with 112 points. So the RAF well in the lead at the moment. And Ron, just looking at this, these 4 at the front, it really is reminiscent of the race last year between McLeod, Binns and Muir, when they all 3 finished within 7 seconds.
That's right. And looking at this man, Kadir, there was some controversy, Brendan, about his own running in the 5,000 meters at Moscow, wasn't there?
Well, he was leading in the 5,000 meters in Moscow with 200 meters to go, and he stepped out to let Yifter through on the inside. But apparently his instructions were that once Yifter had gone, to do his utmost to interfere with the other athletes as they were coming to the finish. And he actually finished 12th in the 5,000 meters and went from 1st to 12th in the last 200 meters. So that sorted that out.
Well, he'll hear the bell now, and he's in the lead, and he's got about 10 meters, goes into the final lap, another little burst downhill. Now, although they're having bursts during each of the laps, it's interesting, and Stan Greenberg's just put the timings in front of me, there is a consistency of pace for each lap. 4 minutes 20 on the first lap, 4:19 for the second, 4:20 for the third, 4:23, a slight drop back then, and as fatigue started hitting them on the 5th lap, 4:26. But that is pretty even pace. It's the bursts within each lap that have unsettled the rest and are beginning to unsettle even Julian Gota and Stevie Jones. So it looks as though Kadir, who has a very good sprint finish, has paced himself nicely, get himself ahead of Dereji Nadia, the marathon man, and he really is a very good marathon man, 2 hours 12:44. He's the East African marathon champion in 1979. It's the 10,000 meter man that's beginning to go away now.
I would feel very confident if I was Kadir at this point. He's in the driving seat. He's feeling confident about his finish. He's trying to win it early, and he knows the best part of the course from his point of view is the downhill bit, and he's got that to come.
Full marks to these 2 RAF boys for digging in there. Julian Gota, now 27. Shaftesbury Harrier, taking Steve Jones with him. As Brent said, he looked as though he went through a bad patch. But he too growing in stature. Look at this. Steve just can't survive that blistering pace. Julian Gota doing well. And as I said, he had some very good runs this winter already. Trying to stay as they come around the lake. Fascinating, absorbing battle, individual level. The 2 Ethiopians, look at this. And Neddy has got to go now if he's going to make any impression. Knowing Kadir's sprint finish, Julian Gota can't really do it. And of course the Ethiopians who, oh, there goes Kadir again. lets him get across and then sprints away. Remember, Yifto, winner of the 5 and 10,000 metres, and Kadir, bronze medalist at 10,000 metres, 12th at 5,000 metres, and Neddy, 7th in the Moscow Marathon. 7th in the marathon against the man who's got a bronze medal, and look at this, two locked together. Gota trying to stay in there, just 4 or 5 metres. Brave piece of running. When you think of the internationals behind them, Eddie de Paul, Roger de Vogel as there, two very good Italians, Christopher Hurley of Germany, and some very tough northern runners. It's been a good run by Julian Gota to stay in with these men who really came with a tremendous reputation. It wasn't just Gateshead 3 weeks ago. It's their traditions over 5 and 10,000 metres and over marathon, and the fact that they've been growing in strength all the time and have won their races every time they've come to Britain. So we look forward to seeing them on the track, and still Gota's digging in with the marathon man, and the marathon man chasing the 10,000 metre man, but the man we made favourite, Mohamed Kedia, leading them on the final burst. 2/3 of the way around this last lap, really sprinting over the motorway for the last time into the avenue, and looking stronger than ever, Brendan.
He's looking very strong. This is the strong part of the course for him. He's rolling down this hill. You remember he shot through from nowhere to first on the first lap, but now he's making his bid for the finish, and it would be a good victory for Mohamed Kadir to come out from underneath the shadow of Mirit Yifta.
And I'm amazed at the absolute speed of Neddy, though. This marathon man, look at him. He's enjoying this run. He's revelled in it. In second place, they've got away from Julian Gota now, but he's put up a very brave fight indeed. They've about 250 metres to go. Looks like another great day for Ethiopia. And a very welcome 5 visits, 5 wins. Mohamed Kedia, who arrived with all the credentials and all the pedigree, showing the sort of form that made him an Olympic bronze medalist, and showing the sort of form that's made Ethiopia a world force in distance running. And it's nice to know that they're doing something about the other events as well. The national coach wants to take back as much information as he can about the sprints and the throws. They're trying to get a very advanced program going. Julian Gota's putting in yet another spirited burst. It's going to be a win by about 40 metres. Mohamed Kedir gets away from Dereji, Neddy, and Julian Gota chases Neddy all the way to the line. He's in third, and Steve Jones, brave.